is always to ask for a bigger number, because irrespective of the number you ask, the investor has a percentage in his mind. So I think in retrospect, instead of raising 3 crores, if we had raised 2 crores also, we would have given the same. We gave, by the way, 33%. So even if we raised like 2 crores, we would have given 33%. Even if we raised 2.5 crores, we would have given the same 33%, 4 crores, 3 crores, any number. I think that's the only thing that we have to be aware in the valuations.
Actually, I'm going to take another question from the right back there, please. Yes.
Okay, the critical mass first stage. The critical mass, you tapped all the IT part. They were your early adopters. What was the next stage after that?
Okay. Yeah. Even now, that low-hanging fruit is a very large, space. Even at this growth rate and these top-line numbers, we have not anywhere near even 40% of that IT base. So in India, I mean, one of the things, I was just seeing Rama Bijapurkar on the list. There is one, I mean, she wrote a book on Indian consumerism, etc. One thing from that book really kind of influenced me. She said, there is a marketplace of a world in India itself. 1/6 of the world population stays here. So what she was hinting was, every time everybody talks about, okay, how do I expand internationally, etc. and all that, but she says in India itself, the marketplace is so much that if you tap into everything, you are a you can build $1 billion business just being an Indian company, which is not the same for an Italian company or for a Singapore-based company, of course. So things like that. So we are in one way blessed. The reason I said that is, even at 400 crores or next year maybe 1,000 crores, we are still well off serving that customer base. So every day the questions are, how do we like, out of the 100 people come onto your site, why only X% of the people booking? Why are the other people not booking? Right? And then if you're keeping on solving the problem, you're becoming so much stronger, and without spending any money, you're getting more and more revenues. So that's.
So I'm going to let you ask the question. Is it possible? Your concept seems to be very powerful. You have implemented it very well. Is it possible to generate redhotel.in?
Yeah. So some of the websites are blocked by us, like Red Rail, Red Air, Red Cabs, and Red Hotels is has another meaning. So we didn't block that. Actually we thought Red Rooms, but then we kept away from it. So we blocked those things, but there is a fundamental thing that is driving us. Like Girish said, I'm like academically good. So one of the learnings that I have from my college days is it's very, very difficult to get 80% marks, right? I mean, to get 80% marks, it's difficult. You have to read up, you have to understand, you have to ask questions in class, A, B, C, X, Y, Z. It is so difficult to get 80% marks. But then, for you to get 90% marks, it is 3 times as difficult, just for that 10% increase. It is so difficult, right? And for that 10%, the subject knowledge remains the same. 80% guy also knows the same algebra, mathematics, and the 90% guy also knows the same thing. The difference is in that 10%, your analytical skills, your concentration, your dedication, discipline, your stamina, all these things get refined. And hence you land up at 90% marks, right? And then once you get 90% marks, let's say in mathematics, you can think of getting 90% marks in science, right? So if you get 60% marks in mathematics, you can never say I will get 90% marks in English, because it is those things of dedication, discipline, etc., which are required for that 82 or 60 to 90 jump. So that is a learning that I have. I mean, when I was getting good grades and ranks and state rank and etc. and all, everybody in my cousins and etc. used to say, this guy is like lot of IQ. But I know it's not IQ. It is just reading up, studying, and all those things which contributed to those ranks, and nothing else. And then that's the learning that I have. So I was thinking, how do we apply that to a company, right? So how can we get that 90% marks in selling bus tickets, right? Every day, how do we think? The typical conversion rate on a e-commerce travel portal worldwide is over 2 to 3%. So out of the 100 people who come onto your website, only 2 to 3 people end up booking tickets, right? We were at 1% and we said, boss, we have to be at least benchmarking with the industry. Then we climbed up to 2 to 3%. Then said, can we do, when we got to 2 to 3%, we knew we could do a little more. And we said, okay, let's do whatever we can do. We did 5%, then we did 7%, 8%, we did 10%, and then we are actually much above that, and it is unprecedented, right? So that is the 90% marks, right? Today when we launch Red Rooms, people who come there will also whichever number, right? People come and book there, and that is a benchmark internally set, right? That's a whole culture that builds in as a side effect, right? Everybody is only thinking that, and everything else is not acceptable. And I think even if it takes 5 years, 10 years to build that thing, it is worth building, because it becomes a huge entry barrier for anybody else, because it is so much within you, within your culture, within the people that are there, which is non-replicable. So that's the so that's the example which said, let's do bus, as long as we know there is something more to be done. And every day when we are building it, we are becoming so non-replicable and so much more strengthening the whole culture, so that anything else we start will also be like this. So that's the thought process.
I'm going to take one question in the middle, but that's, unfortunately, we are running out of time. So we'll have that question, and after that we can step out and do it offline. So yes.
The first time when you got VC, you said that you went through 7 rounds of revisions. So what is that VC? And you said like you don't know what is business plan, so you are not ready to get a VC. So what is those qualities, or what helped you get the VC first time?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that is helped in that context and every time after that is being really very genuine in whatever you're doing, right? I mean, when you're talking to a VC, I mean, you don't have to lie. When you really can't think 1,000 crore business, don't just flaunt it because Google search said when you go you have to talk big numbers, right? If you're uncomfortable wearing a jacket or the suit, you don't wear it when you're going there, because you are what you are. And then you just be genuine, talk to him. If he asks what's the market size, if you don't know the market size, you don't know the market size. Just submit that to him. Say that I don't know the market size. If he says, how will you sell? You don't know how to sell. You say not to sell, right? So that really builds the trust. And that really got the VC to sit with us and say, okay, fine. Okay, this is what you do. And then the second thing is open to learning, right? I mean, every time you question saying that, what is this, I don't believe in it, etc. and all, you are not making progress, right? So when you're open to learning and when you're genuine, people will spend time with you, and then you go through multiple iterations and everything, and then you'll arrive where you have to arrive. And also one other example, which probably you all also can relate to your childhood days and etc., which actually helped me in all through this journey is when I was actually my parents are in village and etc., so we are like studying in village. Then one day they decided I should get like city education. So my uncle was in Hyderabad, so I grew up with my uncle and etc. and all. And then, but again one school in the nearby thing. And when I was in 10th standard, when I got into 10th standard, suddenly it was a board exam. Like the whole state is writing the same question paper, so same answer paper, and then everybody across the state is what you are like competing with, right? And then in my mind, something that was running is, I don't know if my teacher is the best. If he's teaching me the right things, maybe the person who I'm competing with, his teacher is teaching him much better than the teacher that I have, and etc. And I had these questions in my mind, and kind of bounced it off with my uncle and etc. Then uncle said, that's the best choice that you have. I mean, you are halfway into 10th standard, we can't change schools now, and even if you go to the other school, you don't know if that teacher is the best teacher, and there's no way we can figure out who is the best mathematics teacher. They said, that's the best choice that you have. But the thing is, you have to truly believe in him. Every time he says, example, if the science teacher says, there are these things called atoms and nucleus inside it, but you can't see it. The first question as a child is, if I can't see it, why do I believe you? Right? But my uncle said, just believe in him. Just whatever question you have, you go back and ask him. So when the science teacher said that, when I went and asked him sincerely and genuinely, because you want to know that answer, right? Then the way he explained to me is, can you feel something called air? I said, yes. They said, that you can't see air, but you can feel it. It's something like that. So then your fundamental beliefs and the reality, some analogies and etc. start building. And hence your belief in the whole thing builds up. And hence your confidence and etc. and all. And then you go back with more questions, and every time you ask very sincerely. Right? Not to insult the teacher saying that you do not know, but to really find out the answer. Right? And then what happened then was, because I was asking it very sincerely, the teacher was actually going to the library and reading up books to come and answer me. Right? And the way it helped me is, even if I had gone to the library, I would have never made sense of those books. Right? Because he was the teacher, he is at least 2 levels above me, or how many ever levels above me, his understanding was much better than my own understanding. And that's how it helped. And that keeps guiding me. Anybody, if he's elder to me, right? Just in age, if not for anything, right? When I ask him a question, because that's what you believe in, right? You're asking him really to know if he knows, rather than to say, okay, he tells me, but okay, fine. The same thing applied to me in my mentors. When the mentor said, Boss will not get sold, but Redbus will get sold, that's a background and etc. which makes you say, okay, fine, I'll give it a try. Right? Or you go and ask 20 other questions, which he'll guide you, saying that by ABC case study, this is what happened, this didn't happen, and etc. and all that. Then, so I'm sharing this because many of you have also probably gone through this whole teacher thing and etc. And these are some things which you can refer to decide whether or not to believe anybody's advice. So that's the thing, right?
Good. Thank you, Phani. I know you have questions, but we really have a hard stop, unfortunately. I'm going to have to take this offline. You can talk to Phani. He'll be available to answer any questions offline. And I really do want to thank the audience for the participation, as well as for Phani for his time. Thank you very much.
I'm Manjusha, co-founder of Talentica Software, also a charter member of TiE. Thanks, Phani, for coming here. It was great, I think, sharing your wonderful experience and insights. I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. And many of them who are on the fence, thinking about whether they should start up or not, I'm sure now kind of you've convinced them to move on. It's a wonderful experience, and I think we would like to invite you again to come here and maybe share with a bigger audience. Today we don't have much space here, so I guess next time we'll have a bigger team. I'd also like to present a memento of appreciation to one of our senior members of the TiE Pune chapter, Mr. Sundarajan. So